Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple-species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma and the Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up for July fluking with Reel Seat fluke rigs, Nantucket deepwater teasers, leaders, bucktails, jig heads, rods, and reels. A proud sponsor of the Point Pleasant Elks Fluke Tournament.
You know, with all the news media reports from right outside this sign over the weekend talking about all the doom and gloom, I figured might as well do this report this week and talk about and celebrate the boon. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine outside of Island Beach State Park, which of course was reopened as of July 4th. Business as usual, and it's open to everybody, not just a select few. Nice sandals, Governor. That means it's your best opportunity to get out on reduce some of that throwback ratio. We've got 2 at 16 inches for summer flounder here at Island Beach. Don't forget, 18 inches for most of the state of New Jersey, 17 inches down on Delaware Bay. But if you're having trouble finding keepers, 2 at 16 inches out here at Island Beach State Park. Oh, it didn't matter much to Al here, who just hit a 26-incher just recently in the surf here someplace in Seaside. 26-incher on gulp that he weighed in at Grumpy's Bait and Tackle. That fish weighed 6 pounds. More reports of falling into a summer pattern. We talked to the folks at Dock Outfitters in Seaside. They said normal surf action for the summertime. Small blues, mostly on cut baits. So you have those fluke that are moving in and out of the cuts. They're pouncing on bucktails. Also some strip and live bait combos. We're also finding more reports, the night tides for some of that shark action. Hearing the same thing from the folks over at Betty and Nick's as well. Those sharks are moving into the wash, folks using larger gear, steel wire, circle hooks, especially circle hooks, because you're getting that opportunity with brown sharks and sand tigers, both protected species. You got to make sure for a safe and healthy release. Now, as we're finding out more of these waters are warming, you're also starting to find some more of those kingfish in the wash as well. They're taking some of those smaller baits. It's nice to get away from that incessant south wind that we had all of last week. Although keeping the water temperatures cool, we did find out about some striper catches in the last week. In fact, at Barnegat Inlet, Captain Steve Pearl of Real Fantasy Charters out of Barnegat Inlet, he had some good action up through the weekend. Light tackle stripers, including a few keepers, working some of that rip action. In fact, also down in South Jersey, Sterling Harbor Bait and Tackle in Wildwood had Roy stop in over the weekend, had an 18-pound striper on a bucktail gulp combination at the Cold Spring Inlet jetty. Not sure if he was fishing for fluke or for striped bass, but there's options in the surf as long as you wet a line. Also in South Jersey, still quite a few opportunities to get those summer flounder in the back bays, although as the water's starting to warm up, they are starting to get into deeper water. Dean Curis, he lit it up with a 7-pounder that he weighed in at Chestnut Neck Boatyard over the weekend as well. Again, we are starting to get more of the kingfish coming into some of the front side reports as well. The Miss Chris and crew, they were out last week on the fluke grounds and still brought in some of those kingfish, which make for a real nice, tasty treat. Although the crew, the Miss Chris did say that, quote, fluke has been better than in years past. Definitely a time where you want to start looking at getting out on that structure. The old grounds, Cape May Reef, of course, some of the riprap in Delaware Bay also producing as well. So definitely start thinking about getting out on some of those reef sites, especially in New Jersey, as we get that 2 fish, that 2 black sea bass bycatch allowance, anybody drifting along some of the wrecks. Now the bigger dream boat entries, they're starting to come in, especially from up north on the Raritan Bay, doormat country. In fact, Casper Dupree checked in. He had an 8-pounder and a 4-pounder, 12 pounds worth of fluke that he caught on the Misty Morn on Friday using a spearing and gulp combo. Now, other boat options you've got throughout the state and throughout the region. We talked to Chris on the Barb Gale 4. He says it's like the old days out there with jumbo ling and limits of big winter flounder. Great eating trips out there. Also, the Last Lady going out for cod. The Jamaica looking at tilefish. You've got the Gambler doing some sharks in the dark, brand new trips they've got on a weekly basis. You even got bay sharking down on the Cape Queen in Cape May. whatever your flavor, you can find it all the boats that are sailing in the July edition of the Fisherman magazine, comprehensive reports, and you find out all the boats throughout the region from New Jersey all the way down along the Delaware coast, who's sailing for what and what they're gunning for this weekend. Of course, you subscribers, don't forget you've got the weekly editions. They continue to come every week, right? And you've got this edition this week, should be in your hands right now. Little offshore, mid-range bluefin bonanza. That's exactly what Alex at the Reel Seat called it. While Jason at Fisherman Supply, he said bluefin crazy. Spots like the Chicken Canyon, the Triple Wrecks. We're also finding those yellowfin moving up into the Spencer and also the Lindenkohl. As a matter of fact, on Monday, just east, out at the Texas Tower, a 230-pound bluefin. It took Rob Dallas 2 hours on the rod and reel. His dad, he finished off with the final half an hour. Robert Dallas and Rob Dallas together battled this big bluefin aboard Bill Madden's Hooked Up. Now, as we start looking at the mid-week forecast, NOAA offshore, it's looking like 3 to 5s Friday through Sunday. It's not unfeasible, it's not undoable, but take a look at that weather forecast. You've got mostly west winds, 3 to 5s through the weekend, but you know that that can change in a heartbeat. For you folks that would rather do some inland opportunities, the IKE Foundation tournament is this weekend, and you could possibly fish with a Bass Pro as well. To find out more information on that, go see Mike Iaconelli's foundation website. That's the ikefoundation.org. Again, reporting from Island Beach State Park, which is open to everybody now. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the Fisherman magazine, or in the words of Mayor Larry Vaughn, as you can see, it's a beautiful day, the beaches are open, and people are having a wonderful time. Hey, my friends, catch them up next week. We're going to be reporting live from ICAST. Take a look at some of the latest tackle coming from Orlando, Florida for this International Tackle Show. You'll find out what's hot for tomorrow. So until next week, I'm Jim Hutchinson, and we'll see you again from Orlando, Florida.
Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma and the Reel Seat at 707 Union Avenue in Brielle. Gear up for July fluking with Reel Seat fluke rigs, Nantucket deep water teasers, leaders, bucktails, jig heads, rods and reels. A proud sponsor of the Point Pleasant Elks Fluke Tournament.